Professional salesperson. What does this mean? Many years ago, I heard a good line and it stated that professional salespeople get paid well, whilst amateur salespeople don't get paid at all. So, what does the professional do that the amateur doesn't? Amongst other things, in a word, they practice, practice, practice. A result you must achieve by participating in this program is that you commit, and I really mean commit, to practicing responses for the most common objections you are currently receiving. You can either practice with a buddy at work or practice on your customers. I think the answer is obvious. Which of the two is better? Let's now look at some common fallacies. Number 1, good salespeople don't get sales objections. What a load of rubbish that is. Everybody gets objections, but the true professional has a plan for objection prevention. What a great term. Objection prevention. And we're going to cover this a little later in the DVD. And it also is a practiced individual who welcomes objections as opportunities. Let's have a look at fallacy number 2. There is only one way to handle an objection. Well, what rubbish that is. There are many ways you can manage an objection. The professional salesperson studies these ways and uses those that best suit them and the situation they're in. Fallacy number 3. You can answer every objection when it comes up. Load of rubbish once again. As you will find out later in this module, when an objection or a concern comes up for the first time, you must ignore it or bypass it. Let me just stress that again. When an objection first comes up, you must either ignore it or bypass it. It might not be real. Only when it reappears do you handle it. Fallacy number 4. Oh, well, if you manage every objection, you'll get every sale. What a load of tripe that also is. It's true that if you handle every objection appropriately and confidently, you'll stand a far greater chance of getting the sale. That's true. But I doubt if there is, or ever will be, anyone who achieves a 100% success rate on managing objections. But the good news is that if you can improve your results through greater knowledge and practice, you can have more sales. Fallacy number 5. Oh, no, look, I know how to do all this. I don't need to practice handling objections. I've been doing this for 10 years. What a load of rubbish. How about Martina Navratilova still practicing at the age of 48 and winning world championships? For heaven's sake, understand that all professionals, whether they be swimmers, golfers, football players, chefs, or salespeople like yourself, you've got to understand that to improve your skills, you must practice. Those that are most practiced are often in the top 2% of their chosen profession. Just for a moment, think about Greg Norman, 54 years of age. He's out currently trying and matching it with the youngest players in the world. But I wonder if you ask him, oh, excuse me, Greg, do you do much practice? I think he'd answer you, every day. 400 golf balls every day. Let's look at fallacy number 6. A practice response will get you the business every time. Well, that's false. A practice response won't get you the business every time, but it sure will get you a better result than a non-confident, non-practiced, shoot-from-the-hip type response that many salespeople today offer up to a customer to manage their concern. Fallacy number 7. You can out-manipulate, isn't that a lovely word? You can out-manipulate your customer with pressure. Yes, you may at first out-manipulate your customer, but you know what happens when the dust settles? They cancel. They also give you the negative feedback that you don't want and never become the much valued customer for life that we all want. Earn your customers' business by presenting them with a beneficial, value for money proposition backed up with ethical business practices. Fallacy number 8, and I hate this one with a passion. Buyers are liars. Nothing could be further from the truth in most circumstances. In most circumstances, buyers only respond to you with lies when you ask them just cruddy questions, which allow them to take control of the selling situation. For example, what do I need to do to get your business? Imagine walking into a dentist and saying, what do I need to do to have you fill my teeth? What have you been offered? I'm not interested in what they've been offered. I'm interested in what we can do for them. Have you been to our competitors before coming here? I'm not interested in what the competitors can do. I'm interested in what we can do for the customer here and now. In all these examples, you are requesting an exaggeration of the facts. You've got to take control through asking good questions. Lead with questions that will get you positive responses, not lies. Tell them what you can do for them, not what they think they'd like, and then move forward. Please be aware of these myths and replace them with a professional salesperson's mindset of continuous improvement in all that you do. Years ago, J. Douglas Edwards said that an objection was the opportunity of the professional and the death knell of the amateur. It's a buying signal. It's a signpost to the sale. It's good, not bad. After all, if the customer wasn't really interested, they wouldn't object. You see, an objection is also a request for more knowledge. Your customer, before they invest in your product or your service, have a variety of concerns that they want answered. And some of these are, will it do what you said it will do? Well, will the delivery date be as promised? Have I negotiated the best opportunity? Am I making a really good decision? Look, do I need it now or do I need it later? I wonder what my friends and associates will think of my purchase. All of these questions need to have been answered during your previous steps in the sale at the product and service presentation and demonstration, where you focus on your customer's DBM or dominant buying motives. There are very few actual types of objections, no matter what type of industry you're in. There is a basic 5 to 15 that just keep coming up day after day after day. Many of them are just stalls to prevent the customer from making a decision. Oh, I couldn't do anything, I need to think it over. Oh no, I need to talk to my wife. Ever heard that? Need to shop around, got to get some other prices. Ever heard that? Oh, business is slow. I won't be doing anything for at least 90 days. I know, look, really, thank you very much for everything, but I'm really happy with my current supplier. What sort of response have you got for that? Oh, I never buy on impulse. I'm from the country. I need to sleep on it for 4 or 5 days. What's your response for that? I need to see what your competitors have. What's your response for that? So what do you do when we hear or receive an objection? Well, you can do one of two things. You can either ignore it or you can handle it. If you handle it straight away, you could be handling something that just isn't that important and you could get bogged down in it. I was always taught, and had it further reinforced to me by Tom Hopkins at his sales boot camp, that when you get an objection for the first time, bypass it. It may never reappear. If it comes up a second time, then it must be real, so handle it. Give it the time it deserves. To bypass an objection, you've got to learn these words, and I'll just state that again. You have to learn them. You can do one of two things. You can either know what to say, or you can just shoot from the hip. I know to get a professional result, you have practiced responses. So let's have a look at some. So you want to bypass the objection? Try this. That's a good point. With your permission, I'll come back to that in just a moment. Is that okay with you? Or, oh, thank you. I'll make a note of that and cover it in just a moment. Is that okay with you? Or, that's a good point. I believe that'll be answered to your satisfaction further into my presentation. Could we come back to that in just a little while? Many times, your prospect will answer their own questions, negating the need for you to become involved in it. Otherwise, the objection or concern reappears. When it does, it is far more valid and now needs your attention. Many times, just your acknowledgement of the concern is enough. Please remember, acknowledge the objection, then bypass it. Because many people think aloud. Much of what they say may not really be that important. So, wait. Wait until you have heard the same objection 2 or 3 times before you handle it in a practiced and professional manner. Once you've heard it twice or 3 times, you must be aware that this could be the opportunity that you've been looking for to close the sale.